Be'ezrat Hashem, I think we concluded the introduction, a very concise and we try a simple introduction. And Be'ezrat Hashem, if you guys are okay, we're going to start now with Shir HaShirim. So in last shiur, what we basically finished with is the structure of the impact love has, ahava has, right, on the sorrow and the pain that we should be carrying, on the distance we have with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This distance is a distance that is factual, and we are the barometer and the decision maker of how far or how close we want to be to HaKadosh Baruch Hu within this hester panim, within this separation. Okay, there is a limitation to obviously how close we can get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided not to reveal himself through the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash, right? But the closer we get, and the closer we have an intimate relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the more we benefit from his light and from his wisdom, and from we basically become a shutaf, a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So imagine what it's like, when Be'ezrat Hashem we will be with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Bet HaMikdash, and the husband and the wife reconnect, right? And the lover and her and the two lovers reconnect, or when the neshama and the body can eventually coexist with perfect harmony. Tov. So now we're Pasuk Aleph. Shir HaShirim Asher Lishlomo. So we explained that what the definition of a shir is, right? It's the expression of an internal emotion that gets formulated by the brain and expressed with words and with melody, with the music. A shir is a song, okay? A shir is a song. Just so, I just want to bring in one little detail. The Khatam Sofer once said, I would give half of my Olam Haba just to understand the Chokhmah of music. Because music opens up and triggers the spark of a different part of the brain. Okay, it's the music is the ability, the very fine ability to control, maneuver, and uplift emotions. That's the power of the music. The Levi'im, we know, and I think we have spoken in Kohelet about the power of sound, and for sure in the shiurim that we gave on Ayeka, okay, during the pandemic. Yeah, I called that series. I decided to call it Ayeka. Okay, because that's the famous question on humanity, where Hashem asks Adam Arishon, where are you? Or obviously it's not where are you physically, but where do you belong? Yeah. So the Levi'im used to play music at the time of the Korbanot because the music has a very strong impact on the nefesh, it appeases the nefesh, it soothes the nefesh. And if you know which music to play, you can heal or awake different emotions in yourself, in a person. So this is also an element of what is called a shir. Okay? An interesting story, I don't know if I've shared it, but the Gaon Mivilna, there's a story about the Gaon Mivilna. Once, when he was appointed as the chief rabbi of Vilna, at the time, the businessmen, the community used to open their shops on Shabbat. And he started influencing the people not to, to close their shops on Shabbat, and people started closing. And in the town, there was a group of mafia, Jewish mafia, that used to collect for protection from a percentage of the sales from those stores. So the Gaon heard their business, right? Because now the shops are closing Shabbat, so it's less revenue for them. So once they knocked on his door on Shabbat and they asked him to leave town. They said, if you don't leave town, we'll kill you. So he asked them to wait until after Shabbat. He finishes Shabbat and then he will leave. So after Shabbat, they knock on the door and said, you have to go. So he said, can I do Havdalah? I need to do Havdalah. Okay, do your Havdalah and leave. So he does Havdalah and then he takes out a violin. And he said, I have a minhag to pray, to appease my nefesh, because the neshama, Eliona, leaves the body. And the nefesh, my neshama is sad. So I need to appease my nefesh with some music. I just want to play a little bit of that music to appease my neshama and go. And he started playing music. And suddenly these biryonim, these mafia guys, they started crying and acting very weird on the floor, going crazy, sorry, very agitated. And then they were begging the Gaon for mechila. He finished the music and they were completely messed up. And they said, please, you have to stay, we're going to do teshuvah. And they left. So the students that were with the Gaon Mivilna asked the Gaon, what did you do? I mean, what just happened? So he said he played a melody from the Leviim of the Bet HaMikdash. But he only used 3 chords. If he would have used the 4th chord of music, he would have killed them. Their neshama would have left this world. This is the power of music that is kadosh. This is the power of melody. This is the impact the musical accompany to the words is. Good? Yep. So when we talk about Shir HaShirim, we're talking about the impact, the emotional impact and the emotional inspiration that came out from all the inspirations and all the emotional uplifting that Shlomo HaMelech had when he wrote his 1,005 songs. And in this specific case, he says, Asher li Shlomo. Asher li Shlomo, in this case, it doesn't say Ben David. If we open Kohelet, okay, if we open Kohelet at the beginning of Kohelet, what do we have? Divrei Kohelet ben David, right? The son of David. In Mishle, the same thing. Shlomo HaMelech refers to Ben David. Here, it doesn't say Ben David. No Ben David. Why? because Shlomo HaMelech here writes his personal journey as a person, as an individual, and his struggle to connect with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he's coming to teach us that when you are building your relationship with Hashem, it's you and Hashem. Don't blame the struggle to the fact that you are the son of. This is not admissible. When you focus on, like we said, on your relationship with Hashem, or on your relationship with your neshama, yes, like we address based on different, like on the Malbim, for example, right? The only way you can grow and the only way you can build yourself is if you take full responsibility of where you stand. For this specific reason, he did not write Ben David. Do not say, you know what, I'm not doing this, or I don't have this relationship, or if I'm not so religious, or if I'm not so feeling, it's because I grew up a certain way. This you can say when you're a child. But when you become an adult, Asher Ish Shlomo. And this is the only way a person can really build a true, genuine, and intimate relationship with Hashem. Not based on anything else. Because if you emulate or base yourself or continue a behavior based on, well, I'm the son of, which is a mistake of a lot of people. A lot of people say, my father did this, I do that. But who are you? Where is your touch in that relationship? What have you created? Good? Take an example. If you marry a lady, okay? And the only reason she marries you is because you're the son of, not because of you. Terrible, right? There's no chance for this to end up the right way. The same thing. If you want to marry with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you want to have a loving relationship with Hashem, it's not because you're the son of. Hashem doesn't want that. Hashem wants you. Now, when we talk about Shlomo, we're talking about the Gemara, the Chachamim say that all the Shlomo in Shir HaShirim are Kodesh, meaning are referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu or are referring to the Neshama. Except for one. Hine mitato shel Shlomo. That's the only Shlomo where he refers to himself. Everything else, when we will be addressing Shlomo, we are not talking about Shlomo himself. Obviously he's talking about himself, right? But he's talking about his neshama. Or if we're looking at the interaction between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Knesset Israel and Am Israel, it's referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Good? Chachamim say, Shir HaShirim asher li Shlomo, Shir HaShirim asher le Shalom shelo. Shir le mi she'ashalom shelo. It's a song to the one that owns Shalom. Shelomo comes from the word Shalom. Yerushalayim is also called by the name of Shelomo. Yerushalayim comes from the word Shelomo also, which comes from the word Shalom. The last Mishnah in the Shisha Sidrei Mishnah, the Mishnah says, Lo matza HaKadosh Baruch Hu kli malei bracha ela shalom. Hashem did not find a vessel that is fully blessed like the vessel of Shalom. Shalom, the way we understand Shalom, means peace. Shalom means peace.
Isn't it
Shalom
wholeness?
Comes from the word shalem. Shalem.
It's like a vessel for blessing. It's like a cup
Correct.
that holds blessing.
Correct. Now, I think I know we spoke about it at the end of Kohelet. We addressed the period of Tisha B'Av and the 216 hours there is in the 9 days. And then we discounted the 4 hours, which are which is the portion where the Nechama comes, and we ended up with 212. Remember? Rabbi, Riv, Ora, yeah? Yerushalayim is Yeru, 216, Shalem. Is when this period of the 9 days will become complete. It's the completion of the morning. Is when the morning completely, fully disappears. Today, we only have a portion of 4 of Dalet. So the entire avodah, the work that we have, is to take the 212, which is the riv, the fight, and turn it into ora, into light, into shine through the Rabbi. All these ora, Rabbi, riv are 212. But they are not complete because HaKadosh Baruch Hu appeased the destruction, yeah, with a portion of Dalet, of 4. Yerushalayim is the Shelemut of the Yeru. Is when there will be no more mourning, no more destruction, and the destruction will be filled with what? With the Nechama, with the Ahava of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shir HaShirim asher li Shlomo. Shlomo, Shir lemi she'ashalom shelo. It's the song that came from a completion, from a mastering of the Midah of Shalom. It's an undivided dedication to peace that allowed Shlomo HaMelech to make peace with all the 1005 emotions that were expressed through a shir, and he was able to deliver the Shir HaShirim. When a person needs to be able to be in peace with himself, in peace with his soul, in peace with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in peace with his surrounding, in order to be able to tap in to the level, to to the message Shlomo HaMelech is trying to convey.
Is it possible that part of the reason why it's not Shlomo ben David also is because as great as David was, he was a man of war and not of peace?
Absolutely, absolutely. It ties up beautifully. Yes. The answer is yes. Yes. Although David HaMelech wrote the Tehillim.
Yes, but his life.
But it's a different Bechina.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if we dive into the essence of Shalom, we know that who was the master of Shalom? Aaron HaKohen. Aaron HaKohen. Ohev Shalom, Verodef Shalom. Aaron, the definition of Aaron, so the definition of Shalom, and the work of Aaron was, the Midrash tells us, he would see people fight, he wouldn't stop them. Whoever listened to my shiurim on the Ayeka, I addressed it. Shlomo HaMelech would not interfere in the quarrel, in the middle of the quarrel. After the fight, he would go to Shimon and tell Shimon, I was just with Reuven. Reuven tells me how bad he feels about what he told you. He loves you so much. He would have loved to reconnect with you. Oh yeah, he said that. Yeah, he's so sorry. He messed up. He told me, Aaron HaKohen. Is he a liar? Reuven never told him this. Keep in mind, Aaron HaKohen. Then he would go to Reuven and tell Reuven, it's unbelievable. I just saw Shimon. He feels terrible. He loves you. He can't believe what just happened. He told me, Aaron HaKohen, I'm going to lie. And then when Shimon sees Reuven, they hug. And they don't discuss. They don't say, did you tell that to Aaron? Because it came from such a genuine place that Shimon would see Reuven and he would hear the apologies and the bad feelings that he was feeling about insulting him. Reuven sees Shimon, translates the image into why he felt so bad, and they would reconnect and rebound. The wisdom it takes for Shalom to exist, and the anava, the humility it takes for Shalom to exist, is greater than what people think. Why? Because the person that wants to do Shalom, or the way people do Shalom today, they jump into the machloket. You stop, you talk to this one, you talk to that one, you mediate, chazak u'baruch. But what just happened? The guy that did the Shalom comes out and says, I just did Shalom Bayit with this guy. I just did Shalom with these people. And they walk around like the Mr. Shalom. This is not Shalom. This is ego. This is not Shalom. This is taking advantage of a situation where two people are fighting and being smart enough to know what to tell to each one and come out the ground one and the pillar of Shalom. So Aaron HaKohen was not like that. Aaron HaKohen never interfered in the middle. The Mishnah in Avot says that you should do not try to calm down a person at a time where he's angry. Let him be angry. At that moment of the explosion, do not try to interfere. So it takes a tremendous chokhmah and a tremendous anava to be able to do things under the table, know how to verbalize what you need to say, because you are so to lie. So you need to say words that are very accurate for the shalom to happen. Shlomo HaMelech, זה שיר למי שהשלום שלו. Now this wisdom, this anava, is easily conceptualized when you try to interfere in a outside fight. Now try to implement this in yourself. And now use the same wisdom and use the same tweaks and use the same anava to appease your ta'avot, your desires, your anger, your sadness, your confusion, in order to allow for the neshama to prevail and coexist instead of fighting with the body. So you're basically working on outsmarting yourself. It's extremely difficult. It requires the master of the nefesh, of the anatomy of the soul of a man, to such a great level. But this is where Shir HaShirim is coming from. Again, this is where it's coming from. Now, what Shlomo is coming to tell us, if we break it down, based on the Rambam, it's really based on the Rambam, because the Rambam learns a lot in, I think we wanted to, in Yesodei Torah. In Yesodei Torah, he brings halachot on the Yesodot, the fundamentals of the Torah. Okay? Based on the prerequisites that we need, Shlomo HaMelech is telling us the following. He's telling us, look, I'm about to share with you my journey, to share with you my struggles, to share with you my love, to share with you how I appeased all this pain that I carry, that Hashem is away from me. How do I appease all the pain of all the averot I've done in my past? Keep in mind, it's Shlomo HaMelech right now, it's the seal, right? He's concluding his journey. Because the last nevuah, that's it, is the end of Shir HaShirim is leaving. That's where he leaves this world. So right now it's summarizing, it's like the Sefer Devarim, where Moshe Rabbeinu is summarizing it, so Shlomo HaMelech is summarizing everything. So he's telling us, look, you want to benefit? The tools, the prerequisites that you need to tap into what I'm going to tell you right now is number one, anava, which goes back to...
This is in order to tap into peace?
No, in order to tap into the wisdom of Shir HaShirim and understand the depth of Shir HaShirim is number one, anava, humility, which is hidden in the fact that he didn't say Ben David. Because he could have been the son of David HaMelech, the greatest king of all. The first king appointed by God as a Melech Israel. So it requires a tremendous adama. Asher li Shlomo and not li Shlomo ben David. Number two, honesty. When you're shalem, when you're complete with yourself, it means that you're in touch with every aspect of yourself. A person that is complete is not a person that hides, that rejects or turns his head away from his weaknesses or his flaws. A complete person is a person that understands where he's good and where he's not.
Is that self-aware or is that honesty?
Honesty. No, you need self-awareness to be honest with yourself. The self-awareness is what allows you to identify the flaws. The honesty is to own those flaws, to own those weaknesses, to understand that if you are weak in some places, you're not allowed to put yourself in these situations. So if we zoom in a little bit, yes, self-awareness, honesty, and sharpness of the brain. The anticipation of a situation in order to be able to know what to say or how to react. Aaron HaKohen. In 2 words, this is Aaron HaKohen. Good?
Yes. So 3 things: humility, honesty, and sharpness of the brain.
That's right. But there's 3 that is really 4, because I like the fact that you implemented the self-awareness. We have to say it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Mechila. I should have said it. But it's, yeah. So, from the first pasuk until the second perek, 8th pasuk, it's 1 shir. Okay? I think we in the first shir we spoke about it, how the Malbim explains to us that Shlomo HaMelech broke down into 5 his shirim. The first one goes from the first pasuk until the second perek, the 8th pasuk. So it's important that you put that as a gush echad, like one chapter. Until Kol Dodi Dofek, the pasuk Kol Dodi Dofek. And this is the first experience of prophecy Shlomo HaMelech had. So he's explaining it. He's sharing with us his struggle and his work that led to his first real interaction with HaKadosh Baruch Hu as a prophet.
He never had interaction before Shir HaShirim?
No. Shir HaShirim is a summary of his journey in his life until he got to the first real prophecy.
Got it.
So, and it's and it's going to be beautiful because we're going to see the turbulence and the challenges that he had in order to feel Hashem close. Obviously, it's on a prophetic level, but we're going to see the same turbulence we are facing when we try to get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and we try to grow in Avodat Hashem.
What would be the definition of prophecy?
Very good. So prophecy, okay. So we're going to open a bracket. Very good question. And I will tell you what prophecy is. Based on the Ran, Rabbeinu Nissim, in his, he has the Drashot. He has a book, it's called Drashot HaRan. The Drash that the Ran, Rabbeinu Nissim gave. In the Drashot, the Ran explains the following. What is prophecy? When a person has very extremely refined senses, the 5 senses, okay? When he has very, very refined senses, that means he's exposed to much more information than a person that has less refined senses, right? A person that has a very refined smell, like for example, Coke, you can smell a lot of different flavors, senses that a regular person cannot smell. The same thing, a person that is blind, right? He develops his ability to sound that is much more acute than a regular person. When a person has a lot of senses, as his senses are extremely refined, accurate. When his heart is craving a relationship with Hashem in order to appease his pain for Am Yisrael. He's craving the relationship, the closeness with Hashem in order to appease his pain for Am Yisrael. Good? Emotions. When his mind is clear and organized enough and powerful enough to see and clarity and put sense in in situations and emotions. The mind. When together with all three components, he develops gevurah, strength and courage, and nothing scares him but his sins in Hashem, in sinning, in the mitzvot, and these components bring in him simcha. So the acute senses, the crave for a relationship with Hashem in order to alleviate his pain that he carries for the people. His very sharp understanding, analytical strength that allows him to understand and make sense to every situation. When all this together yields two things: strength and gevurah, courage and happiness, the person is a vessel, if Hashem wants, to receive what is called a message for the people. Nevuah is a message for Am Yisrael. That doesn't mean he will receive. That doesn't mean he will receive. And if HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides that this is a person I can channel information to work with, he will do it. If not, people were at the level of Nevi'im all their life. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't choose them. This is prophecy. So, this journey that Shlomo HaMelech will be telling us is a journey that led to a level where he was chosen by Hashem to share something.
So at what point do we start seeing, all right, now this is after he experienced the prophecy? Is it like in the 7th chapter or the 8th chapter, or the whole Shir HaShirim is like that?
No, all Shir HaShirim is
after
was written and concise and in a way where he expresses his painful journey. Okay, every time he had a prophecy. What happened until there was a prophecy? It happened 5 times. The 5th time is the last time. The 5th time is when there's a prophecy and HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes him.
So why was it painful
that's
before a prophecy?
Because
think
about
it. Senses are so refined.
Steven,
right.
Steven,
I guess he sees the
take
ugliness.
everything I just told you the last 10 minutes or the last 45 minutes, okay, and tell me if it's easy to implement.
Oh, painful like that. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, no, that's painful. That's painful.
Got it.
Yeah?
Work.
And then amplify it to Shlomo HaMelech, yeah?
Right.
If we put things in perspective.
Right.
Good? Okay. Pasuk. We're going to start the second pasuk.
Wait, but did we talk about why the shin is big? Yeah.
We did.
Okay.
We addressed it. Nachon?
In the
I think
intro,
we addressed
right?
it. We spoke about it. Yes, in the intro. Yishakeni mineshikot pihu. So now it's the craving, queen, or the lady that was taken away from her husband, or it's the neshama, right? Yishakeni mineshikot pihu. Kiss in plural, me, with your mouth. Ki tovim dodecha miyain. Because your love, this relationship, is greater than all the pleasures wine can give to a man, to a person. We don't understand nothing. What's the connection between a kiss and wine? And yeah.
Rob, why is the English so disconnected from the Hebrew?
Because it's very hard. It's very, very, very hard to. It's too deep. It's not rich. The English language. Why?
Like even Shir HaShirim Asher Li Shlomo, the song that excels all songs, which refers to God, the Gam who peace belongs. Like they don't even mention Shlomo. Like how disconnected?
Yeah, like Yayin doesn't even say wine.
What does it say?
It says all the earthly delights. So I guess it's an
so that's an
interpretation.
explanation.
Right.
Those okay. So let me explain.
It's not a literal translation.
In
This
Spanish,
is not
says
literal.
wine.
This is a big mix of Talmidei Chachamim that put together the best explanation of mixing everything together. This is why I said in the beginning, I disclosed it. I said we're going to be very, very focused with very specific commentators, because if not, we're going to get completely lost. Because then we lose the entire message. It sounds great, but you lose the structure of Shir HaShirim.
So really just stay with the Hebrew for now.
Yes, we're going to give the literal version and we're going to dive in.
Okay.
So, interestingly enough, the introduction, after we've spoken about everything we spoke, what is the urge? What is the connection? What is the craving? A kiss. A kiss. And the kiss that is craved is the kiss of the mouth. Now, the natural thing is that when you love someone or when you're attracted to your wife, there's a kiss on the mouth, right? That's the way, naturally, two individuals that feel something for each other will express it. Very good. But there's a very big problem with this sentence, because it should be saying, if we're talking about the literal translation, we should say Ishakeni, he should kiss me, Mineshikot from kisses, Piv from his mouth. Not, or Piha, her mouth. What does Pihu means? Pihu means nothing. Or you say, or you say from his mouth, or you say from her mouth. Pihu means nothing.
But Hashem doesn't associate with male or female.
I'm sorry?
Doesn't Hashem not associate with male or female?
It's orthographically speaking, grammar, it makes no sense. And yes, he's a man. Betach. Where Akadosh Baruch Hu is the husband and Knesset Israel is the female. Right? So Knesset Israel, Am Israel, or the nefesh that's craving the neshama, the spiritual aspect of the man, right? That's craving the relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says, I want him to kiss me with from his kisses. But pihu, what does pihu mean? Okay? And the pasuk is not focused about love. It's not focused on love. It doesn't say, I want Hashem to show me he loves me. It doesn't say, I want Hashem to come close to me. I want Hashem to hug me. I want Hashem to hold my hand. It's very specific. I want Hashem to kiss me. No other sign of closeness or love is mentioned. If anything, you want to be more general, right? You miss Hashem so much. Any type of closeness would be nice. Give me anything. You don't see the king, right? You want to see the president. Give me anything, just let me see him. You want me to get close to him? Great. He speaks to me, even better. He gives me a hug, even better. He takes me by the hand, amazing. Give me a kiss. Wow, that's ultimate, right? That's ultimate. And you're craving that relationship. So if you're craving it so much, then why don't go from the top. Say, I'm craving your closeness. I'm craving your presence. I want to be close to you. But here, Shlomo HaMelech is being extremely specific for a very, very important reason. And we're going to focus on this now. The Malbim tells us there is two ways to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we're not talking about fearing that Hashem will take something away from you. Huh? That's not the level of connection. We're talking about a real, genuine connection, right?
You said the Malbim?
Malbim, the Malbim. The first one, you will be very surprised, is the connection and relationship we have with Hashem through our brain, our knowledge, our intellect, our understanding, and the dwelling of information. Through the brain. Andy, you with us? Okay? Which to us sounds like the highest level possible, right?
Through the brain and the knowledge we acquire?
Yes. Knowledge you acquire, intellect, the brain, toiling and diving and investing in the knowledge of Torah, in the knowledge of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in nature, in his behavior, in his interaction. Basically, limud Torah, right? When your brain is infused with Torah. Says the Malbim, this is not what we're talking about here. This is a level that is great, but far from being an intimate relationship with Hashem. Why? Because the brain, the analytics of the brain, the knowledge, the research of knowledge is so broad and so wide that all you're getting is indications. You're finding pieces of a huge puzzle and slowly understanding bits and parts of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But that's not a relationship. That's just a discovery journey. That's just a discovery journey that it's like shooting in the dark. Yeah, you shoot in the dark and sometimes you hit the target. You absorb a lot of knowledge. Sometimes you pick up something on that knowledge that gives you an inspiration. It's like you're smelling something, and you pick up that there's a beautiful smell. You pick up that there's something very precious, but you didn't take it. It's not yours yet. You cannot identify it. Good? So, the first time I learned this Malbim, I almost got depressed. I almost lost it. I almost lost. Why? Because that's all we have. What do we have? We have Torah, and we have knowledge. What else is there to get? And all you're telling me right now is that doesn't matter how much knowledge and how much Torah, at the end I'm shooting in the dark, hoping that I connect with some concepts, right? You learn Torah. Everything we learn hit home? No. Things we connect more to, others we have questions we don't like, others we're not interested. So we don't have a real relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're just in the quest to try to identify who HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. You see there? That's one way of connecting with HaKadosh.
All right. Well, oh, okay. We didn't get to number 2 yet.
No. And then he says there's another connection to us. There's something spectacular, and it exists. I promise you, it exists. I want to read these words. And that connection with Hashem is as sweet and as vibrant as the kiss from a lover. When you kiss someone you love, when you kiss your wife for the first time, there is something magical, something spectacular. Okay? We're taking into consideration that you never kiss before you get married, and for the first time you kiss your wife. Okay, so but then it's I don't know. I cannot explain that. Anyway, שהתקרב החושקים פנים אל פנים בתשוקה נפלאה, because there is an energy, there is a chemistry when the husband and wife get close together, face to face, and actually kiss for the first time. This, okay, how is it conceptualized in the relationship with Hashem? עת ישפך השם את רוחו על הנפשות אשר הוכנו והתקדשו אל הנבואה ורוח הקודש. שאז תצא הנפש מאדמתה ותדבק בשכל הנפלא. There is a point in time, in that journey, where we try to connect and we try to understand, where we're so close to, we need so much the connection with Hashem that we have no problem sacrificing anything just to want to connect to Hashem through the sechel, through the kedusha. Kedusha. To be kadosh, to be holy, to be, and what does it mean to be holy? What does it mean to be kadosh? It to be separated from a woman that is kadosh, kiddushin, right? The marriage is called kiddushin. What is kiddushin? Is when a woman separates herself from being allowed to the rest of the world and connects herself to that specific person. When a person is at a level when he's ready, he's craving the chokhmah, he's craving the connection with Hashem so much that he's ready to be kadosh, to focus only on the relationship. That's when he's at a place where he craves that through his purity, through his mind, through the awesomeness of the knowledge. HaKadosh Baruch Hu opens a new channel that is called Ruach HaKodesh, an inflow of spiritual kedusha. This is called neshika. This is called the kiss of Hashem.
So through separation, you become kadosh, which gives you ruach hakodesh.
That's right.
So basically, separation is the way to connect to Hashem.
It's an extra level to everything we spoke about. Is to be convinced and ready to detach ourselves from everything that might be an interference in my connection with Hashem. That dedication, that sacrifice, that position that we're willing to take triggers a new pipeline that is called Ruach HaKodesh.
That's powerful.
Which is kind of where Moshe ended up when he was Evet Hashem. There was no
Moshe was past that. Moshe, forget about Moshe. Moshe is a different level of connection. Different level.
This is a level we could all reach?
Everybody. Everyone. And not every sacrifice is the same for everyone.
Right.
It could be for someone that learned Torah, that is dedicated to Torah, and decides, you know what? From now on, I want to cut Shomer Negi. I want to be able to not shake the hands of ladies or not kiss ladies. Or for some people, for a person, when he stopped eating shrimps. Shrimps. The guy was learning Torah. He became close. But he loved shrimps so much he couldn't stop. One day he was so in love with the Torah. He said, "You know what? I'm giving up. This is kedusha." I'm going to tell you, but he was in Taref. It doesn't matter. There's a seizure. Now, obviously, as you grow, you let go of other things, right? And it's getting because you're refining and the level. But that's kedusha. When a person gets to the awesomeness, to an impact of the Torah that is so great that he's willing to sacrifice, at that moment there's a new valve that opens, a new connection that opens, and that showering of shefa, that showering of kedusha, of Or Hashem, it's called Ruach HaKodesh. This is called Neshika. Shlomo HaMelech says, Yishakeni. This is what I want.
It's the same thing like dating. It's like dating. When a woman decides that she's going to separate herself from every other man because her love for or awe for that man is so great that she, has the incision from every other man in the world.
That's right.
And also think about how dedicated you were when you wanted to get her, You would put anything aside and you would fully disconnect and connect.
That's right.
Amazing.
It's a zoom in that Pashut, nothing else matters. When you're in love, and this is what you want, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter the girls, it doesn't matter anything. You even let work, you'll skip school. All you want is to be close to that person. You sacrifice it. This is the relationship we're talking about.
Love.
This is this Yishakeni.
The book of love.
We didn't get to the Piru yet, but this is Yishakeni. This is the level of connection.
Amazing. Hold on. Let me just count. How many words did we do today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 words. Incredible.
Powerful stuff.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, B'simcha Rabba. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us all strength. Mechila for the last week. I apologize. Mechila.
Forget about it. We love you. Have a great day.
Love you all. That was a beautiful day.
Thank you, Rob.